Hi, I'm Victor Ratman. I'm going to be looking at a piece written by LCD Wolfie. Um, doesn't have a title or anything like that, but according to you, Wolfie, this is a backstory to one of your characters. Now, the way I'm going to be looking at this is if same way I would look at any narrative structure. Like, I'm not going to give you any passes because this is meant to be a backstory. I'm going to look at this as a narrative form of events and try and pull out some things that you could certainly do better. It's always an object for me in these videos to focus on one or two things that I think if you were able to learn and integrate into your work would become instantly better. So the first one is an incredibly fundamental way of storytelling, and that is the technical side of writing, and I want to talk about formatting. Formatting is an incredibly important part of storytelling because if you don't format the text right, you're essentially not formatting it in the way that I'm speaking right now. It's hard to understand that the way we talk to each other is formatted within the rules of grammar, but it is. That is why the rules of grammar exist. Grammar is designed to make language emulate speech in a lot of ways. It is meant to structure the words in a way that they are organizable to be spoken or to read in one's mind, obviously, where we speak it. So, basic formatting tips. Every single line of dialogue, unless it comes from the same character, should be on a different paragraph. Paragraphs should at least be one or two. Somewhat, paragraph length is a point of contention, but obviously you want to try and group up your paragraphs in kind of sections of thought as the narrative progresses. That's a bit hard to explain because that's something I just do so naturally now, but there's emphasis to having a one-line paragraph as opposed to a five-line paragraph. But ultimately, you need to split your paragraphs up. You need to get that dialogue separated. Dialogue is typically always in its own paragraph break. So if a character just says something and all that it says after that is, say Jessica said, that would be the whole paragraph and you would, go down to the next paragraph break. Doing that will make your work much more readable, much more digestible, and help people a lot when they look into what they want to say about your work. Bad formatting is, the human brain switches off. We are unable to read it in the way that you formatted it, so it's very hard for us to retain what is written. The other thing I want to touch on is the fundamental golden rule of storytelling, and that is you are trying to recreate a scene. If you could imagine that your words are designed to recreate a massive grand stage play for the reader in their head, the same rules kind of still apply that cinema does. You would not accept, if you sat down and watched a movie, if the movie told you what you were meant to be seeing. And ultimately, that is what your writing is doing. It is telling me what is happening. It is telling me what things look like. It is telling me this, it is telling me that. Now, if you're sitting there right now and you're going, Victor, I don't understand what the fuck you are talking about. Of course it's, of course it's telling you. You need to show the reader. Telling has its place, and you're always, as a writer, going to have to tell the reader things. But when you tell the reader, that is in the absolute minority compared to how much you show the reader. You need to imagine yourself as a painter with words. Your goal is to paint the picture, not tell them what the picture looks like. Okay? With that in mind, go through and reread your own work and be conscious of how much you directly dictate the way things are. Instead, look at those sentences on a mechanical level and say, okay, with this sentence I'm trying to accomplish this. How can I show instead of tell this sentence? And trust me, you'd be amazed how quickly you improve when you start to break down your writing like that and look at each sentence as one little block in the chain. Because when we're novices and we're learning on the ground level, that is one of the most difficult things, is coming over these fundamental writing, well, not so much writing, but storytelling rules. And showing the reader is something that is a huge hurdle in the beginning because it It requires you to almost change the way you think in here. Because I understand how this got to the page. This isn't because you're a bad writer. I know that at this point in the video, you must feel like, Jesus, this guy's just ripping me to pieces. But honestly, the reason the place this has come from, these words, you're not, it's not from a lack of talent. It's not you shouldn't take it personally that it's come out so bad. Because when you think of ideas, you think them in tell. Okay? The way you think in your brain is in a tell version. You have to consciously kind of filter that idea out with the show. So when we start writing, and like a lot of our early work, every single writer that's been doing this for a while will show you, their early work is seeped in examples of just what you've written here. So focus on those two rules, formatting and learning show versus tell, and then get back to writing. I think you'd be amazed at what your writing can turn into and how quickly you can improve. I hope this helped. By all means, if you want anything clarified or want any more feedback, reach out to me in DMs or post some more work up in the bookshelf. I'd be happy to review it.